I've come to a city today where I've been to before, and the last time I came here I declared to myself, if you can make a declaration to yourself, that this is probably the coolest city I've ever been to. The city in question is called Osh, and it's the second city of Kyrgyzstan. I love some of the odd architecture you can find here. Some really interesting types of architecture. Okay, not always pretty, but interesting nonetheless. So I've just come inside that building and just walked up to the top, and there's a roof. So I get a little view of the city. Now in other cities, climbing the tallest building, you'd probably get the best view of the city. But in Osh, that's not the case. In Osh, you can even go there and get a really good view of the city. This is about as typical Soviet building as you can get. The railings, the floor, the doors, the carpet. This is the building from the back, and as you can see, it's every bit as interesting from the back as it is the front. I'm not saying for 1 second that this is the best city I've been to, nor the most beautiful, nor the most interesting, but it's probably the coolest. Admittedly, you probably have to quite like Soviet architecture to like this city, but I do, so I do. I'm not saying that Osh is cooler than somewhere like London, for example, which is also a cool city, but London's about 100 times bigger than Osh, so obviously it's going to be cooler, but I'm trying to compare like with like. For a city of this size, I don't think I've been to a cooler one. Last time I was here, I really enjoyed this main square. It was so Soviet, but unfortunately it seems they're renovating it. I guess because it hadn't been renovated in many decades, so perhaps it was due a renovation in fairness, but I'm just worried that now it will lose its Soviet character. Osh is located right on the border with Uzbekistan, and last time I came here I had been travelling in Uzbekistan for a few weeks, and just coming to Kyrgyzstan after Uzbekistan, it was just kind of a breath of fresh air. Just feels a lot more free here, so maybe that's kind of prejudiced my mind a little bit about this town in a positive way. So it'd be interesting to see this time whether the town is as cool as I remembered, or whether it was just because I'd been in Uzbekistan and coming here it made it seem better than it was. Osh is a city that just keeps on giving. You walk around the town and you just keep on coming across really interesting things. This is the university of the town. I've mentioned before, haven't I, that I really enjoy just strolling around universities. I mean, any parts of the world really, but these Stalinist ones, i.e. these ones built in the 1950s, like this one. In fact, this might even be older. It's a really old one, but it's still going, and it's fascinating just to have a stroll around. Feels like you're going back in time. Just look how well made these are. Look how thick these things are. Here as well. So I really enjoyed that actually. Plenty of young people around as well. I always like being around young people. One of the well-known communist slogans was "Workers of the world unite." Well, effectively, people of the world unite. And it seems here on the fountain they're trying to show friendship between different nationalities or people from different parts of the world. Seems to be an Asian girl there on the right, a young man probably from Africa there in the middle, and then probably a Russian or Slavic white person there. During the Soviet period, hundreds of thousands of students from all over the world, Latin America, Africa and Asia, would come to study at universities all over the Soviet Union. To be honest, the city's a little bit haphazard, a little bit unkempt even, but that's kind of what gives it its charm. This building here, the woman inside reckons, was from the 1930s. It was once upon a time a communal house. Now it's a music college. As you'd expect, it's pretty old school on the inside. My favourite thing is this collection of old class photographs. Some cities just have a great vibe, a good atmosphere, and this is one of those cities. This is Kirov. You may remember we saw a bust of him in Jalalabad. He's probably in the top 5 most statued, if there's such a word, people in the Soviet Union. It seems they still do have a communist party in Kyrgyzstan. It's not in power, and it's probably not likely to ever get in power again, but you never know. I'd forgotten that Osh has trolley buses, so that's another plus. Although there's nothing wrong with my memory. I'd remembered that Jalalabad was an awful place, and I went back and it was awful. And I remember that Osh was a really cool place, and I've come back and it is a really cool place. If I was here by myself for a couple of days, then I'd probably be staying in this Soviet bad boy. But I can't keep making Danny stay in such places, so we're staying somewhere else instead.